Be still and know that I am God. The stillness is a place that we need to find in life. That is a place that is quiet and still and away from all the noise out there and the traffic and everything else that distracts us in the world, computers and social media and our stresses of the day. It needs to be a place where we can be quiet and still. That is how we are able to listen to God and God's voice. God speaks to us in our heart center. We need to move out of our head center and into our heart center where our soul dwells. And when we want to connect to God, we reach up through the ethers with our heart center or soul to communicate with God. This is the way that we can get a pure channel instead of all the din that's everywhere else. We ask in God's name or for the higher power or the source. Many different names are given for God, but it's the higher power that is above and around and through all creation and all things and has the infinite wisdom more than anyone else to help us with the trials that we experience here on the earth plane. So we kind of need to move out of the earth plane and reach into a higher realm, to other dimensions. And God will, when we say God's name or call out God's name, God hears it if we're saying it with respect and with our soul, and he'll immediately be with us. God can also include Mother God, who I often connect with. Her name for me is Ahana Wahonan, and you can say Mother God or Mary or whoever you want to communicate to the goddess energy or the other half of God. The divine feminine, the divine masculine are both there for us to attune to. And we can call either one and ask for guidance. The goddess or Mother God is also Mother Earth, and she is in charge of a lot that goes on down here on this earth plane. She's a birther of life in all its forms. So when we want to connect to Mother God, and we all have a father and mother, and we also like to connect to our father and mother God at different times and ask questions and ask for help and ask for inspiration. With all the strange things going on out in the world in the last few years, it's been really necessary for us to get quiet and find God and find out what God is trying to tell us in this experience down here that is sometimes very chaotic and very confusing. I have written a poem about how I connect to God, and it's called The Stillness, and I would like to read it to you. The stillness. When I am unable to look at the images of the world, its madness threatening to overtake me, I go to the stillness. There I see God's workings and know that a higher power is still in charge. The stillness. Of a hilltop overlooking the world, I hear the angel voices whisper in the wind that all is well. The stillness. After a snowstorm, everything coated with soft white lace. The air fresh after washing the world of all its psychic debris. The white gloves on the arms of the trees hold me in a calm embrace. The stillness. Of a starry moon-filled night, I become one with the infinity of space. No longer concerned about the madness of this life. It doesn't really matter in the big picture of the progress of the universe. The stillness gives me hope, peace, and an abiding calmness. Remember to be still and listen. It is important that you listen with your heart. And God will prompt you and give you different kinds of soul messages and tell you what to do. And I do this often, every day. My husband does it as well. And different people will do it different ways. They'll connect with God in different ways. There's many different places that you can connect with God. And there's no right or wrong place necessarily. It's just the place where you feel closest to God. The stillness can be found in places like gazing quietly into the center of a rose or any flower. It can be felt in going on a walk after a storm or even during a storm. It can be experienced in connecting, observing, and magnifying any one of God's creations or parts of God's creations. There are so many wonderful rock forms all around the world and beautiful parks and forests. And those are some of the most ideal places, nature, to connect with God, to be around God and Goddess's beautiful creations. Some people have criticized people that don't want to have their form of connection to God be in a church, and they think it's not okay to be out in nature, but we should not judge other people. Some people can find a connection to God in churches and in altars and chapels and temples. That's an okay place too to connect with God or Source or all that there is. Don't get confused, though, to think that you can't connect to God anywhere and at any time. Especially in crisis, you can call out God and God will be there. He can calm your heart. He can be right there to assist you. He can send angels to comfort or help you. Don't be afraid to call out to God. Calling out to God is another name for it is prayer. In meditation, we can connect with God, which I do almost every day. Some people connect better to God through being out on rock formations. They might be earth signs, and so they connect more by sitting down in the earth. Some might be water signs, and they connect better to God through water, and they might be wanting to connect in a warm tub or by a pond or a lake or by the ocean, because that's the place that they feel the closest connection to God. Some people like to just be out in fresh air, the air signs, so that they can feel that energy of the air and the wind. Sometimes they like to kind of feel the wind because it helps them clear their minds and focus their energy. And then, of course, fire is the sun energy, and many people, most people need to connect to the sun. The sun is the great life giver that rises in the morning and shines through the day. And some people communicate really well with the moon, which is a feminine energy, at night with that light. And so light of any kind can be a good way to communicate and feel close to God. One of the most important things is that we get away from all the other voices out there. And we can ask for a clear channel. One of God's names is Elohim, and we can say Elohim, or we can say Jehovah if we want to talk to Jesus. There's other names for Jesus too. Yeshua, we can talk to Jesus and call upon Jesus, who's God's son. And so, or our personal guides or angels. We can call in certain angels. We can call in the archangels. We can call in Michael for power and strength and courage. And we can call in Gabriel for healing. And we can call in Raphael or any of the angels, both feminine and masculine, to assist us in anything we might need assistance in. Calling their name is all we need to do in a reverent, quiet state. And they will come to us, and they can come to more than one person. They have that ability to hear different voices that might need them. I have been touched and blessed by angels so many times, I can't count them, and blessed by God and his messages to me. As I was doing this message today, I kept hearing, "Be still and know that I am God." And we have to remember to be still and listen to what God has to say to us. And if we have questions, then from our soul, reach out and ask God whatever we have that we're concerned about or wondering about or need more knowledge about. Detach from the earth space and connect to higher dimensions of more pure thought. So remember, you can connect to God anywhere by calling his name or calling out for the higher power. Some people even call it the universe. Whatever name you have that makes you feel closer spiritually to the higher realms, you can use that. But there is a God energy and a goddess energy. And you'll know who these people are that are talking to you. If you don't know, if someone comes into you and says, I'd like to talk to my guides, then one of your guides may come, and as you're in a meditative state, you'll hear a voice say, here I am, and you can ask them, what is your name? And I have done that with all my guides, and I have several different guides that I talk to at different times about different things. And so you can ask individual guides and angels for certain things as well. And a good time to do that is first, early in the morning when you're fresh and clear and there's not any other noises around that are going to distract you. Get quiet and peaceful and connect with God to start your day. And it's a great thing to do at the end of your day too, before you go to sleep, is to get quiet and say your prayers of gratitude for the day and what you have had, what you've experienced and what you've learned, so you can have a peaceful sleep. Good music can also be very helpful. Meditation music, like you're hearing here, to help you connect to higher realms, because they're higher vibrational music, and it lifts us into higher vibrational places. So I would encourage you to find some music that speaks to your soul as you commune and get quiet and still, and so you can hear God's voice through your heart center. This is the Love and Light channel, and thank you for tuning in today. And I hope you will have the comfort and the peace that comes with being still and listening to God through your heart center. Have a great day.